Welcome back. Now, the Democratic Alliance maintains its stronghold in Cape Town. The party garnered 58.2% of votes. This is a decrease compared to the 2016 elections. To speak on the party's plans, I'm now joined by the Democratic Alliance Cape Town mayoral candidate, Geordin Hill-Lewis. He's set to be the city's youngest mayor. Thank you very much for your time on ENCA. What difference are you going to bring to the city of Cape Town?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join you, and hello to all the viewers. The purpose of my government is very explicit. It is to make Cape Town the most inclusive city in South Africa, and to make it the one place in South Africa that people can look to with a sense of pride and optimism and hope for the future. Everyone around the country feels a real sense of anxiety and concern about the direction of our country. And I want there to be one place that you can look to in our country that shows what South Africa is capable of. The very best of our people, the very best of our country, the very best of our unity, of our efforts coming together to grow our economy faster and to get people out of poverty over time. If we can do that, then people will have a sense of hope that there is an alternative that is better for South Africa, and then that will be a job well done.
Talking about being inclusive, does this also include the homeless people?
Of course, they are residents of Cape Town.
But there's a report that actually is scathing against the city of Cape Town, talking about, going against the law when it comes to how you treat homeless people in Cape Town.
I've received that. I downloaded it last night. It's a 400-page report drawn up by a group of NGOs. It'll take me some time to work through and to consider the recommendations that it makes. But in this campaign, I've spent a lot of time with the NGOs who are experts in this area and who are doing a lot of really good work in this with homeless people. And I've shared some ideas with them, and they've shared a lot of ideas with me. And they've said that in the past, they've had a difficult working relationship with the city. And I've made the commitment that we should speak very often and we should have open conversations, and that we can learn from them as to how we can work together to solve this or to make progress on this very difficult, tricky issue. And that's my commitment. The other commitment I've made is to say I think the city has to do more in terms of safe space, shelter beds available in the city for people. This is a really complex issue, but if there's more that the city can do, we will do more. I'm very happy to speak to those groups who are the experts in the field.
How do you feel coming in as the new mayor of the city of Cape Town, hearing people call the government that you represent very anti-poor?
Well, that might be the perception, but of course it is not true. The truth on every objective measure, which I'm sure you have seen as well, is that Cape Town does the very best basic service delivery for the poor anywhere in South Africa. The fact is that when your municipality is crumbling, when there's no electricity, when the water pipes are all broken, when there is no fire department that works, the poor are not served in those municipalities. So, 106 municipalities across the country are considered either collapsed or near to collapse. And at the top of that pile, shining like a beacon of functioning governments, is Cape Town, that actually where fire trucks do work, where basic services are delivered, where actually more is spent on free basic services for the poor than any other city in South Africa. So those are all things on objective measurement. It's not a statement of opinion. It's just fact. However, there is still this perception, and so what I want to make sure, and that's why I spoke in my first words here about an inclusive city, that wherever you live in our city, that you get to feel and experience what we call the DA difference. That's that sense of difference that you get when you drive into a DA-governed town or city, that you can see that here is a government that is committed to service, that is caring, and that is committed to doing the basics absolutely right. And so wherever you live in Cape Town, you should be able to see and feel that experience. Even if you live in an ANC ward, it doesn't matter. You live in a DA city, And so we've got to find ways to get around, lazy or incompetent ANC ward councillors, and we've got to deliver consistent, excellent basic services to everyone. And I'm very proud of the fact that we are already atop of the pile. But I've said often in this election, we can't be happy with being above average in South Africa when average is set so shockingly low. We've got to set our goals higher, raise our aspirations, and keep doing more.
Let me ask you this, Geordin. In terms of the city's bylaws, homeless people who take the decision not to go to the shelters that are provided for them are made to pay fines, and they are homeless. Does this make sense to you?
Well, what I've said is I've downloaded the report. It's going to take a long time to work through. It's a 400-page report with 150, I think, recommendations, or 120 recommendations. One of them does deal with the bylaw. Once I've worked through it thoroughly, I will set up a discussion with its authors, and we'll talk about the bylaw. And if there is, good cases made backed with evidence, then I'm not going to rule out anyone's opinion simply because they don't agree with me. I take people's opinions based on the merit of the arguments they make and on the evidence they present. And I will do that in this case as well.
Very quickly, because I'm running out of time, the informal settlements in the city of Johannesburg, what's the plan? Are you going to upgrade those?
In the city of Johannesburg?
I mean, the city of Cape Town. Are you going to upgrade the informal settlements in the city of Cape Town?
Sure. We are pouring billions of rands of investment in infrastructure into informal settlements. That's where I've spent most of the last 10 years working in the poorest parts of the city. I've seen the billions that the city has poured into the poorest parts of our city. But there are still far too many places in Cape Town where people don't have the services that they need for dignity. And I look forward to spending a lot of time in those communities talking about how we can roll out more services, more infrastructure, emergency services, you name it. We've got a lot of work to do, but let's be absolutely clear that we are doing an enormous amount already, and there is more to do.
Well, promises have been made to the poor there in the city of Cape Town, and I hope you coming in will change that. And as ENCA will definitely be there when you go into those communities to see what they go through.
Thank you.